What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Dead Man's Mic, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast based right out of here in the Midwest, St. Louis, Missouri. I'm Nick. I'm here with Craig.
What
Craig, how
up,
you?
y'all? Man, I'm feeling good. We got a new Easter spec map drop today.
Yeah, man.
Right out of nowhere. It's already like it's like the hits keep coming. I got excited. So I'm ready to talk some more shop, man. Like this is this is quite literally the best time of the year. So
Definitely.
once I mean after HHN is the previous HHN is over, we on the spec season for the next year. We already ready to talk about it, but
It's a
you know,
365-day rotation.
literally, so
It
you
never
know, it honestly never ends. Hashtag it never ends. So let's get it.
Let's do it. So, before we hop into today's topics, a couple of updates for things going on with Dead Man's Mic. For those of you who listened to part one and part two of our Fear and Beer Haunted House reaction trilogy episodes, part three will be out later this week. So, we know when you see this will probably look a little bit out of order, but we had some things drop today, some different rumors kind of stir up today with the spec map. We wanted to make sure that we could get on and talk about it. We also now have a Google Voice number that you all can call in and talk to us on the show. If you call in and leave a voicemail, we'll play it live. We'll respond to whatever you have to say about whatever topics that we have. It'll be in the description, but that number is 314-384-9478. Once again, that is 314-384-9478. So definitely go ahead and call us, call in, give us any topics you want to talk about, any ideas, anything you have regarding HHN or anything we're talking about in the podcast. You might be able to join a Dead Man's Mic episode and talk to us about whatever might be going on in the HHN world.
Yep.
Now, before we hop into things, Craig, how are you feeling, man? Tickets are on sale. Spec Map dropped today. I know you're excited
Ooh.
at the Easter. I think Horror Night Nightmares did like an Easter egg hunt type of
Mhm.
situation on their Discord. I was not present for it, but I think all in all, the way that they had that set up is what put together the spec map. So that's how we
Yeah.
got the spec map that dropped today.
Well, when once tickets go on sale, like I'm a firm believer that when tickets go on sale, that's like the initial punch and shot of adrenaline that the HHN community, us included, need, and that's exactly what happened. As soon as tickets went on sale, there was there was a queue uh, on the website and on the app.
It was
I
wild.
think it wasn't like open. It wasn't like Epic Universe like opening day, type shit. But it was definitely a queue because literally when those tickets went on sale at like 8 in the morning, they were already queuing up on the website and on the app to get them tickets because the people are ready. They're ready. So I think if I'm not mistaken, I honestly think by May June most of the RIP and the um most of the RIP and the special ticketed things and express especially express. I think most of those are gonna sell out. Uh Express and if last year is anything to go off of with RIP and Express selling out just last year, not being the anniversary year, then you can only begin to guess what's gonna happen this year. It now thank God that none of that has sold out yet, which is good for us. But
Yeah.
the people that still like in the midst of trying to see when they want to do the RIP and Express. But I'm man, it's you know what happened when the tickets went on sale and we started buying them up. It was like, hey, confirmed, we going, let's go.
Yeah, gotta lock it in.
We
I
confirmed for opening night, we locking it in.
Absolutely. And single night tickets are on sale. Premium Scream Night is on sale with an additional night this year. We'll talk about that. RIP Tour is now on sale. That is the lower package and the higher package, which would be the private, which would be, your own group, like a private tour, as well as the Unmasking the Horror Tour. We'll get into that. Scream Early, which is always known as Stay and Scream, but is being done a bit differently this year. We talked about it on the last episode, but we'll definitely be hopping back into that today. And then also the HHN Universal Express Pass is also on sale. So single night tickets are coming in starting at $87.99. But when it gets done, you'll probably be a little bit over 100, probably like in the 113, 114 area. Premium Scream Night is starting at $400, $399, but after tax, it'll be up in there. And so I think that's where we should, where we should hop in first will be with Premium Scream Night. It's going down on August 27th. That is the night before opening night, as well as October 19th. And if I am not wrong, October 19th this year is a Monday. Now we know Universal caught a lot of hell for how Premium Scream Night went last year. I think we definitely saw a lot of people that were more disappointed with the event than people that were impressed by, what they were able to experience while they were there. So I definitely think that they oversold Premium Scream last year. I did not go, but just from research and talking to people, that's what I was able to kind of configure and put together, was that it was oversold, man. A lot of people felt like they were just at a traditional night of HHN, which is the point of paying extra money to not, be in that same kind of situation. So I really do feel like with 2 nights of Premium Scream, they're definitely trying to right their wrong, and hopefully people will have a different experience with it this year. We know a few people that are going to go to the first premium Scream Night, and it'll be interesting to see what their review is. Craig, what do you think about this change of events, the 2 nights, and hopefully them kind of taking down the ticket sales?
So picking back off what you said about um the two nighter premium screen night, like you said last year, from what I've seen and heard, um premium screen night was a success, round success. Don't get me wrong, but I think the success of 2024's premium scream night, I think that success kind of like, kind of had Universal overly excited, like, oh my God, we make so much money. Let, let, let's get up the capacity and do it again. And I think last year that's where they kind of like, we kind of we overly gave too much. We overly exceeded the capacity and things like that. When premium screen night is literally the when premium screen night is literally made for a reason, for it to be all inclusive, for it to be a low capacity, and like you said, for the night to be unlike a regular HHN night. Like it's literally a all inclusive ticket, and the expectation is low capacity weight and low capacity weights and lower wait times and stuff for houses. And I honestly think Universal got money hungry and they got excited with the success of 2024 HHN Premium Scream, that they just, they just saw dollar signs and wasn't really paying attention, which is okay. We, like every business, um, they see dollar signs first, so which is fine. But I think now this year that is going to be spread out to 2 nights. I think they could lower the capacity right down to where it was at first. But now, since they got 2 nights to work with, now they're just keep things steady, keep things at a flow, keep things at a pace to where it was before. So this is a great opportunity, and then it couples with an extra night and an extra opportunity for people that won't be able to get down there who might have wanted to go to the first night of Premium Screen Night. Now they got an opportunity in October to go. So that's what I say about that.
No, I totally agree. And I also think when it really comes down to the topic of discussion on Premium Scream Night, just kind of not being able to fire off on all cylinders last year, it really comes down to this. Take FNAF for an example. If Five Nights at Freddy's is at 180 minutes plus every night, nobody should be paying that kind of a penny to go to Premium Scream Night and still have to wait in a line that is creeping up toward those numbers, even if it didn't hit those numbers. Like, if I'm paying for a ticket to Premium Scream Night, which I've never been, I don't want to stay anything any longer than 45 minutes because that's where that's supposed to be. I think that is a good manageable window. The 45-minute wait mark, you know, not that bad. But that's just kind of how I feel about it. I also want to point out that they are reimbursing $75 off of tickets that were given to people that went to Premium Scream Night last year. So I think that that is really nice of them and definitely kind of their way of saying, "Hey, like we understand y'all probably had a bad experience with this last year, but let us run this ticket back to you with $75 off." So even if you pay that full price, just from what I've gathered from research, you can, kind of get that pulled off, but don't necessarily call them. I don't really think they want people calling like that, to get that 75 off. So just make sure that you put in the app that you did attend last year, because if I'm not wrong, the app does give you an option to do that. So that's where Premium Scream Night is. 2 nights this year. Hopefully, it is sold at a good number and that people that go can really enjoy themselves when they go to it. So the next ticket package that we have is the RIP tour. We have the priority, I guess you could say, like the priority ticket, which is a group of 10 people, but you have to book all 10 together. That would be your people. It's like your private tour, and you get obviously like the buffet and priority access to the houses. But I think the difference between the two is that with this private one, you can go unlimited with the houses and things like that. I want to say definitely houses. Not sure if it counts with rides like that, but definitely houses. With the first package, the one where you could be grouped with other people, you're gonna do each house one time. So that's not terrible, but you will do each house one time. I think you still get that buffet and things like that. And then also, just so you know, for anybody who's planning on doing the RIP tour, you still will need a ticket for admission. So you will still need to lock down that single night ticket, even if you hop into an RIP tour situation.
And
So
that's kind of what sucks because it's like, damn, you already paying like for 500 or so dollars for RIP. Now you gotta buy a single night because RIP doesn't even count admission. I think I think that Universal is gonna I think eventually they're gonna include a ticket with that and raise the price up a little bit more just because it's included admission will be included. But
it becomes
you
a
know,
package if they do that.
you could do a package, but it kind of sucks because you gotta do you gotta do it a la carte in
Right.
that aspect. So
Right. Yep. I mean, that's kind of where it is. I think RIP Tour is worth it for the true avid HHN fans and definitely the HHN fans who travel. I really do. I don't think you really see many of the locals hopping on it, but for people like us who I mean, we're gonna go a few times a season. That's always how we move. But for the people that really are just traveling down there for that one weekend, your premium scream night RIP tour type of direction is the direction that you are going to want to go in if you really want to get all the houses done but deal with the crowds effectively, especially if you're only going to be there for a weekend or if you're only doing 1 to 2 nights of HHN. These two ticket packages that we're talking about right now are definitely more up that alley for you. Definitely a little more expensive, but you're going to pay what you get for, especially, you're going to get what you paid for, rather, especially with doing an RIP tour or a premium screen night. So, from a traveling standpoint, if you come down, especially if you're only going to come for a weekend, this might be a route that you will want to go in. Like, this is going to be very, oh, so important. So, those two things are on sale now. And the
I
next thing we
agree.
have coming up on the ticket list, Craig. Now, this one is interesting. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this package and about what this is. And I'm curious to know your thoughts. I have my thoughts. That is the Unmasking the Horror Tour. I've heard a lot of different reviews about this, and what I've been hearing is that some people feel that this could technically be a spoiler. Some people also feel like it just lets you in too much, and then once you go through that attraction at night, it's actually very hard to be immersed, in the environment because you've seen the ins and the outs. You know what it's like with the house lights on and not the actual haunted house show lights. What do you think about Unmasking the Horror Tour?
So about unmasking the horror tour, I think it's actually an excellent concept because it gives people the opportunity to go through the houses, look at the detail. Granted, with the lights on, but no scare actors, no no sh- no show lights on, but the uh the actual house lights on, seeing the details, seeing the attention to detail that the different the different carpenters and the people that worked on the house, seeing that the love that they poured into it. Now, I will say, offering it, starting the year off, um, it's kind of like like you said, it kind of gives off spoiler like a mixed bag, and I get that, but I honestly think Unmasking the Horror is for people who honestly went through the houses already, but are now getting a deep dive into the house and seeing seeing the actual detail and stuff like that that they may have not seen before while through the house when the event is going on. So, that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I feel about it. I don't feel like any negativity toward the Unmasking the Horror tour. It's just that obvious. It's just that to me, going through the Unmasking the Horror tour is not meant for like if you didn't even go to the event yet and you ain't been to no house, you gonna give yourself a spoiler. So so like I said, it's just meant for the people who already been to a night at HHN and just want to or if they like the first night they go to HHN and then the next day they go to the Unmasking the Horror tour during the day in the park, and then now they got a deeper appreciation for the house. They see the detail, they see the love, they see the care that they put in, and now you go see then you see some things that you might have not seen when you was going through the house during the event, and now when the event actually starts again, you go to those houses and hey, you seen it all. You got a behind the scenes look for real, for real. So yeah.
No, I definitely see what you're saying there. And I was gonna say that. I mean, you ended up saying it, but I think the best way to do and appreciate an Unmasking the Horror Tour is to go do the Unmasking the Horror Tour after you have done all of the houses. So whether if you knock all the houses off in one night or you do 2 nights of HHN, make the unmasking the horror tour something that comes later on down the line. Once you get enough adequate walkthroughs of all of these houses, then you go ahead and, you know what, I want to see what this looks like behind the scenes. I want to see how they were able to put this together or portray this, like that is a better way, in my opinion. I think doing an unmasking the horror tour prior to you going through the houses in their actual environment, that's going to be a spoiler every single time. But I really do think that this tour serves great purpose, especially for the diehard horror night fans, because you just want to see how these things are created. Like, how many houses do we have that are like all time favorites of ours, but we really don't know the ins and the outs on how they were created? What was the thought process behind it? All those different things are questions that you could potentially get answered during an unmasking the horror tour. So definitely not a package that's not worth going to. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely worth it. You just got to time it the right way so that it makes sense for you. That's the best way I could put, things going on with unmasking the horror. Now, the next thing that we have going on is the Scream early ticket. And Craig, you can kind of take us through, but they're doing this differently this year. It's coming in at $70. I remember when this mug used to be like $50, but now we're up to $70. So
Yeah.
completely different, completely different. But they're definitely doing some things differently. There are three houses that are going to be open at 2 o'clock, is what it's sounding like. So I think they are past just letting us line up and bake in the sun. I think they're going to give us more to do and get the houses rolling. So, what's your thoughts on that, man? I'm about it. I think this shit's great. Give us something else to do. Don't make us sit out there and die in the sun.
So, let me just run before I go into any further detail. Let me let y'all in on a little something. Again, the Scream Early is an add-on. That does not give you admission to HHN.
It will not get you in the park. It will not get you in the park.
Scream Early it's only giving you admission into the park at that time. That doesn't mean it's a whole HHN ticket, because is what happens is that uh Scream Early is like I said, Scream Early is just an add-on. You need your general admission HHN ticket for that night as well. Scream Early just gives you admission into the park at 2 p.m. to where you can, before anybody else, to just um gives you uh, free reign to walk around the park. You don't get to bake in the sun no more and be in holding areas. You get to ride some rides, some daytime rides actually.
Fact.
Um, some daytime rides while the regular park hours are still going on. And the thing that changed up this year is that officially at 2 p.m., three houses will be open. Not just the lines, not just queuing up for when the house is open at like around like 5:15 or so. No, these houses are gonna be open, and they're not gonna be the same three houses. The three houses there'll be three houses at random that will be in a rotation, and it's at Universal's discretion. So they don't have to. So essentially they're not gonna open the same three houses. They're gonna be, like I said, they're gonna be at random. They're gonna be at a rotation. But one house that I will say that might be in the same uh variety and the same rotation is Jack and Oddfellow, because that's the icon house. So that only makes sense to be included in there.
And I kind of feel like they are going this route not only to give us a little bit more for that add on, which I think we all can appreciate. We really do remember a time where Stay and Scream was just okay, you're in the park and you can stand here until we open the houses, but you all are some of the first people to go through. Well, now they're giving us a better option, whereas you get to actually go through some houses very early on. So that's cool too. But I definitely think that 34 gave us record wait time numbers. And I think with those record wait time numbers, then Universal decides, all right, we need to go back to the drawing board and figure out a way to push the same amount of people through these houses, but let's get more through. Let's get an opportunity to even increase those numbers, but to still pace it in a good way. And I think that's where you have this upgrade to what has always been a very popular add on. So to me, this is great. Definitely get a Scream Early ticket. Once again, it is an add on. You're going to have that general admission ticket. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. I definitely think they don't want to see 5 night wait times anymore. And because what ends up happening is, let's just use Jack and Oddfellow because that's the one house that we have right now. If this house opens at 5 o'clock and it jumps out to 190, 200 minutes, that house is at capacity and it's closed and not reopening by 9, 10 o'clock. An event that goes to 2 o'clock in the morning. So if we add those hours on the beginning, that's some extra flex time, get more people through the house, and then at 5 o'clock we can open and we can still run all the way through to the end. So that's kind of where I think this upgrade to Scream Early has come in.
Yeah. And then it honestly gives you more bang for your buck as well. Um, with uh honestly, you still got the rides. You can still do the daytime, attractions because not all attractions are going to be available during HHN. It's pretty much half of the slate of attractions that will be open. So, um, and then the houses being available at starting at 2, and I think that's kind of like where like that price increase came from, because now you get more bang for your buck, and you get to try the food, the HHN specialty food for the year too, because those lines get outrageous. I remember last year when people just used Stay and Scream to get the food,
Yeah, they just wanted a good opportunity to eat.
because them lines, like the lines for the that mozzarella stick, bro.
Oh yeah, that,
Man, that thing went viral. So
yeah,
all the food, uh from last year, Universal was in their bag. I'm honestly looking forward to what they got cooked up this year, because that food last year
dude. Especially,
bang.
I'm not trying to be funny. I know this is the only announcement we have, but I feel like that Jack and I fellow menu is about to go stupid. I just feel like they're gonna have some dope stuff for us to try.
I mean, if last year is anything to go by, I think for sure they're gonna knock it out the park, because it's almost, and it doesn't even go for HHN. This is for like, every specialty thing that they do. Like for Mardi Gras this year, they cooked with that menu.
Yeah, they did.
So, but like I said, like if last year was anything to go by, color me excited, man, with that
Yeah,
food and the
and
merch.
oh, definitely the merch, and not only that, but Express is also on sale for 35, and that will be your regular Express ticket. I have not actually gone in the app and opened up the Express add-on, but I'm not sure. I think this is just your regular Express. I don't think that Express Unlimited is on sale yet. Basically, guys, Express is going to work for houses and rides during HHN, and it's going to be a one-time scan. So you go through that line, they scan it one time. Once it's scanned, your Express Pass will not work at that attraction or said house again. But if you have the unlimited ticket, you can go as wild as you want, as long as you want, all night long. Definitely a different price, a price increase there for the unlimited, but definitely worth it, especially if standing in lines is not your jam. It's definitely worth it.
Now I will say, in terms of the Express Unlimited and the regular Express, that plays a factor in the RIP tours as well, because in the regular RIP tour with the um the regular RIP tours, that is like that only comes with just an express pass, which is only the one time. But if you get the priority, that's unlimited express, from what I've heard.
Gotcha. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to keep in mind for RIP tour as well. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say. It has something to do with RIP tour. Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
But hold
Multiple.
on,
Go ahead.
before that thought, um, if you do regular, all right, I mean not RIP, if you do regular express, I will say, do one thing, one simple and common mistake that people make is using that express early. Please do not use that express early,
Use it.
because exactly, use it when those wait times are out the ass, and when you actually need to, get that bitch going. Because a common mistake that people make every single year is, oh yeah, event just started, I'm using that express. Now look at you. Now you waiting in a 200-minute line at the end of the night.
That shit is gone by 7 o'clock. Can't use it.
Gone.
Yeah, definitely. That is a great point. Definitely be strategic with that express pass, especially especially if you don't have the unlimited. If that house is sitting at 30 minutes, man, wait to 30. Just wait. It's not worth scanning it on that. If you
And
if it's at 100 minutes and it's 11 o'clock at night, use the express pass.
and
That's
if a house is 30 minutes, half of that time, half of the minutes are gonna be used walking through that long ass queue.
yeah,
So
yes. You'll get it. 30 never feels like 30. It's when you start getting past 30. That's when stuff starts feeling certain. Also multi-night tickets are not on sale yet, so that would be like your frequent fear, your rush of fear, packages like those. Those are not on sale yet, but we suspect that they will drop pretty soon. So that is the ticket conversation for right now. Those tickets that we talked about are the ones that are on sale. The multi nights are not on sale yet, but like we said, we are hoping to see that soon so we can get a rush of fear. You know what I'm saying? That's what we are hoping for. Now, something else that we need to talk about are these spec maps that dropped today. Horror Night Nightmares dropped their Easter spec map today, and not too many things have changed. There are two things that we really want to hit on. And the first thing, let's just rip the band aid right off because I think that this has like really pissed off a lot of people, and that would be the Fortnite scare zone rumor, the Fortnite mares. Hey, here's where I'm at with that. Ah, I'm not fucking with it either. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not. I
ah, I mean
just knowing like Fortnite dances and like what I don't know. I guess just knowing what the game is, I think this really falls under that same conversation I said about every post-apocalyptic Netflix show should not be a fucking house. So I think this is where I'm coming from, like with Fortnite. But a lot of people I'm also seeing are like, oh, well, it's gonna bring the whole family out. It's gonna sell tickets. It's gonna bring the kids out, which I also can see that. We see what Five Nights did. So I'm kind of at a toss up. It just depends on how they do it. This is a scare zone rumor, by the way, not a house. Scare zone rumor.
and it's like, it's that's just the way. Like I literally, like, this is in my pro wrestling fans out there. You'll know what I'm talking about when I say this. It's almost like how all these celebrities are popping up during WrestleMania week, during the road to WrestleMania, and being involved in these stories. Like, celebrities bring eyes, they bring money, and they bring business. So it's almost like, yes, you don't want all of this to happen, but you know, from the business side of it, Universal's like, oh man, Fortnite, like that's the biggest game. That's like the biggest game, period. So it's almost like, you do that, that means a whole lot of social media interaction. The TikTok numbers gonna be booming, and more. That means more eyes on the product. That means more money. The people, kids, and people included gonna be like, hey, let's go to Universal. Let's go to this HHN and see what they got cooking up for this Four Nightmares. I want to see what's going on with this Four Nightmare. I want to see Four Nightmares in real life, and then after they do that, they're like, oh, they got all of this to offer. Let's see what's going on. That just brings more fans. That's honestly why, like, literally, that's why they did The Walking Dead and Stranger Things all them years in a row. Is because they got their fans. They bring the eyes. They bring the product. I mean, they bring their eyes to that product. They bring revenue. They bring business. So it's like, as bad as I don't want that to happen, me or you to have that happen, but at the business side of things, it's just like, at the end of the day, you, me, or none of the HHN fans that we know, um, or any other fans out there, we're not in the boardroom. We're not in those production meetings, you know.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
so honestly, it's almost like, at that point, hopefully it doesn't come true. But if it does, we just gonna have to suck it up and just like be like, yep, and that's what and I know that for sure, because I know how businesses think and I know how they are. And this would be exactly why it would happen.
So you're saying this is definitely more of a business move minus what the crowd's like really asking for.
Oh yeah, Comcast definitely would have made that decision.
Well, that if we get Fortnite, then that's what it is, and I bet any money this zone will be right in the middle of the park. So there's not going to be a way for you to get around without walking through that shit. So, like Craig said, if it happens, we're all going to have to deal with it. But you never know, man. I've talked about a few different properties that I didn't think I'd be a fan of, and then they ended up showing up and they were amazing. So that is kind of the main thing from the spec map that we want to talk about. We're still seeing our logos for Sinners, Hellraiser. We had a rock sign that showed up today. That was new. And so a lot of people are thinking Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne, baby.
And Ozzy has been stirring around. I still low key feel like it might be too soon, but also Ice Nine Kills could be in that conversation. They've always been in the conversation. So I think there's different ways to go, with that. We haven't really had like a heavy metal kind of house in a while. So I think that'd be kind of like an ode and a throwback to like your Rob Zombie houses, you know what I'm saying? Or when Alice Cooper had his out of Hollywood. So there are different ways to go about that. But yeah, man, that spec map dropped today. Definitely go tap in with that map and kind of look and let us know what you all think. Craig, is there anything else on either spec map that stood out for you? They dropped one for Hollywood and Orlando.
So, I know on the Orlando and Hollywood step map, nothing really changed. Nothing was really like, different besides the Four Nightmares and the Ozzy Osbourne rumor. But I will say, picking off what you said about Ice Nine, an Ice Nine house would go crazy. Not even gonna lie to you, because that collab they had with Terrifier and Art the Clown and stuff, and how he would appear at their shows and stuff. Um, and then they just did music for Scream Seven. So honestly, that could be an avenue towards Scream. Just saying.
Hey, nothing is impossible. especially with HHN. So I'm definitely not against it.
Especially with an anniversary year at that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm really kind of banking on this Hellraiser situation to kind of come to fruition. Sinners as well. Like I know that they've been talked about a lot, but really hoping to see that. Pretty sure we're gonna see Stranger Things just by looking at this map. It looks like that eye roll was everything I needed to know without you even having
My God, but it's gonna bring fans.
it.
Like it's
It's,
like
it's
it.
bringing
It's
a lot.
literally how The Walking Dead was all them years when they had it back to back to back to back, and now they're doing the Stranger Things back to back to back to back. Yes, it's annoying for us HHN fans because it's like, come on, you like you bring something new, but those fans and that cult following will. I'm telling you,
I was gonna say the Stranger Things fans they show up, and
oh
that
yeah. They
and
show up and show out.
exactly. And when Universal
Even
knows they're gonna
e-
show up,
even um even when it's not even Halloween season, I see so many Hellfire Club shirts. It doesn't make any sense.
oh yeah, no, I think it'll definitely be back. I definitely think that the detail that they have always shown that they are capable of giving us when it comes to Stranger Things is second to none. So I think with that being said, Stranger Things, like I'm I'm familiar with the property. I will be completely honest. I have never sat down and watched Stranger Things all the way through, but it's always a very fun IP kind of house to go through. You know what I'm saying? It's always very visibly stunning. It's interesting. You even see things that you recognize from commercials and advertisements and things like that. So
Like
definitely,
not to, and it's not even the shit on Stranger Things itself because Stranger Things is great. Like the show is great. It's just that the repetitive nature of the houses is just getting annoying.
well,
And
we've seen it a lot in the last few years. We really have.
right, like literally all the seasons of Stranger Things have been a house.
Yeah,
So, and it's
It's
like to
like to
me
me
that gets
that
annoying from like your even the diehard HHN fans because it's like come on, you could have at least held off that for at least a year or two and try to like get properties that we still waiting on like Hellraiser this year and we trying to get redemption from Scream from HHN 25. you know we just like there's so many things that they could just do, but I think you know like the Netflix partnership and stuff kind of makes things easy and less of a headache for HHN because you don't have to fight for all you, you don't have to fight for all getting all the rights to use the property and stuff like that because especially for Scream because the rights owners are so stingy and they want and
dude.
they want and they be wanting a bag for it.
I want to
So
know how much they want in the bag for it. I
that's what I'm saying.
because
Like you want all this percentage of of revenue and money for what? Like it will be a home run to have that property.
easy home run, easy home.
Easy.
You know
There's
how
so much
how much
there's so much money there's so much money to be made and the return on investment is gonna be insane.
easy,
Like
easy
I don't
between
know,
merch
man.
sales and just overall ticket sales. Once they see that that's going to be there, you already can't.
Like even merch alone for a Scream House would go insane.
It would. No, it definitely would. And also, I know we're getting to the end here. Before we close out, I do want to talk about we have construction updates from Hollywood. Tents are now going up in the lower lot party. We have seen tents going up around, I want to say, is that Soundstage 23, like right there where Texas Chainsaw was, where Holidays in Hell was. There were a lot of good houses. A lot of good houses have been in that spot. So we have
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, so we definitely have construction. starting out there at Hollywood. We also seen construction starting out at Knott's. So Not Scary Farm is starting to come up. Don't forget Hallow Scream, Not Scary Farm. We're gonna have coverage on that stuff as well this summer. So definitely stay tuned for that.
There's also some construction updates in Orlando as well. The Mecca company that does the houses in Orlando, they have shown up at those sprung tents. They have their production trucks there. And so they're starting to construct those houses in those sprung tents. So, not the facades just yet, because that's giving away too much.
Not getting the
But
facade yet. Like we
right,
all
not this early. We'll start getting facades. I say like June, July.
yeah.
So, but keep your eyes peeled. If you're out there in Orlando right now, you keep
Keep
your eyes peeled and stay on the lookout. We're gonna be out there for Spooky Empire. We'll see for ourselves. But
I was
you
gonna
know,
say, I think if we don't get another house announcement soon, I think our next announcement definitely comes at Spooky Empire. Also, something that I have kind of taken a note of is that the Spooky Empire panel schedule is still not yet out. It's still not yet out. And so to me, that says that either they're trying to, ink in something pretty big, or they're trying to hold out and kind of drop that announcement when they're ready because they know ticket sales for that con are going to go through the roof as soon as that comes out. So we are kind of banking on Spooky Empire to be, an announcement. It's kind of what we're thinking that it'll be the next one if we don't get one in between now and the end of May. We'll be down there for Spooky Empire. We're really excited about going down and checking that out. Um, still just sad that like we weren't able to be a MegaCon, but we had GhoulieCon going on, so I totally understand.
hey, I'm not even mad. At the end of the day, we got an announcement, so I'm lit regardless.
Lit regardless, dude. That exactly. Exactly. Well, we appreciate you all for tapping in with us this evening or in the morning by the time you're listening to this. Don't forget the third part, the finale to the Fear and Beer March Madness house list reaction episode from us will be out later this week. It'll probably be out closer to Thursday or Friday. So definitely stay tuned for that. But we appreciate you all for listening to this. We are currently working on not necessarily restructuring, but moving some things around on our Google form for merch orders. So for now, if you go through our T Public store, you can order T-shirts with all of our designs on there. They'll be shipped right out to your front door, and we appreciate any and each and every one of you who decide to buy a shirt. If you do, it helps to push the channel. So we appreciate y'all.
Yes, indeed. We appreciate every single one of y'all that buys that merch and supports us. Keep doing it because hey, we support it. We love it. We see y'all. We appreciate the love that y'all give us, and hey,
Absolutely.
keep it going because it's only up from here.
Yep. Keep rocking with us. Well, until the next episode, this has been another episode of the Dead Man's Mike podcast, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast, hopping into the fog all year long. This is just the beginning. Announcement season is ramping up. Stay tuned with us. We're going to have it all for you on the fly when it drops. It's always going to be there and ready for you. And we will talk to you all soon. Peace out.
Peace, peace out, y'all.